in our school, there were a lot of people who really excelled in the music department, and our department, music department, cared a lot about students. So a lot of people sort of loved that department. But then, you know, once you come out of school, and a lot of people that, you know, weren't so great academically come out with no qualifications or whatever, it's sort of what next, what do you do now sort of thing. You know, you've got that love for music, but now you're out of education, so what sort of happens? And I think it's kind of sad to see, but you know, we've got a few friends who didn't manage to get, you know, into college or uni or whatever else and sort of fell off, but that love for music is always there sort of thing.
But you hear definitely of people who just are unbelievably talented, but they either don't have the means to get that talent in front of the right people, or they don't have the kind of almost mental ability to harbour that talent and know that this is what they, or the confidence. So, you know, you might find someone that's brilliant, but they literally, you know, it's almost like the X Factor kind of stuff, isn't it? That people, they're just stuck in the middle. You know, they might not have supportive parents or supportive family, or they've been told that it's not like realistic to actually be a music producer or a singer.
Old school tie, you know, it has always worked and will always work. It's people. You know, you can be as technically adept as you like. You can. You know, try as hard as you like, but unless you go out there and get involved with people, things don't happen. You know, and we all like to get lazy and just get on the internet, but you know, you can't beat the real thing and getting out there and actually going to see people. And networking, yeah, at colleges and academies, etc. It's just so important. I mean, I did a lecture.
I think a lot of the times schools don't really cater to personalities. It's sort of everything's statistics. It's sort of black and white. It's either, you know, A, B, C, and you know the school gets grades, and if you get grades, you know, rankings go up, and you don't really cater to the person or, you know, personalities in a way. It's just sort of, you know, what you get on paper. And I think whereas a lot of my mates sort of may have flunked on paper sort of thing, personality-wise or, you know, characteristics-wise, they were so, you know, driven. They've got attributes that are amazing, you know, that they might be driven, hard-working and everything else, but it's just on paper, because they haven't got those grades, it's sort of, you know, they've missed a lot of opportunity because of that sort of thing. So.
Left just feeling that there was such incredible talent those kids had, some of them especially, and completely unrecognised and unrealised. Often the silent ones, the sort of shy silent ones in the corner, I would just notice that they had just naturally got it. What I had spent years and years trying to teach myself, sort of production tricks or understanding composition or making basic music, they seemed to grasp it so quickly, and I was blown away by some of the kids there. But they were very shy and quiet, and I know for a fact they came from really troubled backgrounds, no parents, no role models, nothing like that.
As well, so I think there are people that have that advantage through their traditional schooling. I mean, I think you look at the likes of Mumford and Sons and Noah and the Whale and Coldplay, you know, Radiohead, those sort of, you know, quite typical English artists and bands who've come through the sort of public school system, who may potentially having had a very good education, may have a bit more of an understanding of the business side of it.
With these people, when you work in the music industry, you're working long hours, and if you're somebody that kind of, you know, shuffles into an interview, sits down and tries to give a bit of attitude, then it's not really going to impress anybody, and they're going to think, oh well, I can't see you.
You know, as I say, I was lucky enough to come out of school with, you know, A's and GCSE and A-levels and be at uni, but a lot of my friends weren't so lucky to come out with, you know, GCSEs, for example. And, you know, given the chance, they would love to go back, but because they haven't got that A to C, they can't go back into, you know, college.
And if you want to show, look, I'm the best at playing guitar, or I'm the best at this kind of genre and music, then just because they want to prove it, and like they know that why they come to schools, because their music, and the only way they can do it is if they just get a C or B or A in English and maths. They'll do that. I think it'll be a drive within the person.
Well, I quickly got involved and spent 2 years teaching music tech according to the syllabus that they gave me, that the college gave me. But again, I felt it was a little redundant from my own personal experience, what I taught myself and how I'd started to achieve some kind of success in the industry.
Any kind of system or accessibility to current employers looking to today's youth sector for employment is actual gold, really, because I mean, if I if I had that when I was 18 and then when I'd left school I had that contact already in place, as I said, unless you are motivated or have the contacts or the ability to, you know, someone to say, right, Sophie, here's so-and-so, you can go and do an internship there. And again, as I said, it was with my older brother, my dad, my school. I was lucky that I had the ability to find out, but if I didn't, then, you know, I wouldn't have been able to get to where I was today.
There's other people like in my area that probably have talents and they don't have that older person to follow. They'll just either follow someone that doesn't know what they're doing and get led astray to waste their talent or do something else.
Areas like Hackney, Tottenham, or Lewisham, everywhere else, there's a lot of raw talent, and I think, you know, the talent's never, you can't really doubt the talent, but people just don't know, you know, where do we go from here? You know, I can rap, you can drum, people can play keys, whatever else, but some people just like, really, where do we go?
You build a reputation for yourself as well, like through networking. You know, if you're professional and like a nice person and interesting to speak to, and just
doesn't go unnoticed.
Normal, yeah. Then people are going to speak highly of you. And the music industry is quite a small industry, really. People know, people talk, and that's.
And I think if people actually took time out to go to these areas and actually visited these places, so you go to youth clubs or you go to, you know, where youth are, you'll see that there are a lot of talent. But I feel that there's not a lot of people who actually, you know, care enough to go and sort of, you know, go to these places and find these people. So
very strict, very disciplined college. It certainly wasn't full of dropouts, but they've got a very, very low employment rate, which just seems so backwards. And I think it is due to literally not liaising and communicating with the industry side of, you know, of the industry sector, and finding out what actually happens on a day-to-day level in these jobs, and giving them experience. We sat in a classroom for 6 months, and I was 18, and it was interesting to start with, but there was not one field day, not one course, not one guest speaker that came in, something that we could actually relate to.
We also, you know, we hire all sorts. I suppose you could get in because you're a mate of someone's, you know, you just get referred. And again, you don't just get the job because you're a mate, you have to come here and just show that you've got what it takes, or a spark of it.
Practical qualities, just hardworking, conscientious, people that are sociable but, you know, personable as well, people that are confident, people that are able to work independently as well. That's actually very important.
A keenness, really, most importantly. And I always think it's really amazing the amount of young people we have come and work here who seem really keen to come, and, you know, sort of, you know, the CVs or whatever you call them that they send in seem really keen, and then they get here and they don't ask any questions. They just sit there. You have to tell them what to do. They don't seem to have that hunger for.
As Will said, I think if you can have that, if you've got all that great music, and then on top of that you have those other skill sets to bring into it, that can only be a massive advantage. And so being sort of rounded in that sense and understanding the ways, because also it's a tricky industry to navigate yourself around as well. You know, a lot of intricacies and subtleties and all sorts of dodgy dealings going on.
You know, a good ear for sound. You know, if someone says, oh, you know, we want to bring up that snare slightly, or put, you know, more of a tack on it, you've got to kind of be able to understand and not only be able to hear when that snare suddenly has got more crack on it, you've got to understand how to get there. So it's a bit of physical ability, and it's a technical ability.
Interestingly, or worryingly, one of the facts I heard from a main recording studio, someone I knew there, was that any time they had an applicant go for a job, and on their CV it said they had attended a course like SAE, they basically wrote them off straight away, because these employers wanted real life experience, and SAE was so purely theory based. It kind of lost sight of actually what I think industry was looking for.
Everything else you do, you see it in football. There's a lot of free academies, people just invest in grassroots, and I think that in terms of music, there's a lot more of that needed to be done, particularly in areas such as Hackney, Lewisham, just sort of areas where there's a lot of talent, a lot of raw talent, but just there's no real sort of understanding of music.
Listen to a lot of guys talking about drugs and the trap. Why the heck you think they call it a trap? Little man focus on school and that's that. So yeah, I'm in uni rated, but I'm still the first to say it's overrated. I be sitting in my seminars writing tunes, and I've been living life so the parties ain't new. Still, music's a love. Still, education's a must. Believe a black man once said a black man ain't a bad man unless he's got a diploma in his black hand. Why? Cause I'm easy beat the system. Try wake up to your dream, same difference. I don't understand why you're sleeping on me, but I'm a lyricist, so I just assume you don't listen. Try and see my vision, so blunt, I ain't never had to roll a zoot. I got this one friend, all he know is load and shoot, until the day he got shot, yet he seems confused. Calm as a funny girl, I just thank the Lord I see 2020.